suggest that the consent agenda, you present that consent agenda, and then the opportunity to say that an item on that consent agenda will be pulled out and handled separately. That just has to come at the request of one of the commissioners here. And that's all it takes. So I just want to make, I want the clarification on that to be reflected. And I brought printed examples of some of their organizational procedures in order to see that kind of thing. These are Michigan.
I put that in motion.
Secondly, and this came up at a board that I'm a part of, okay, which one of us is regardless. And that was a click, and I'd like a clarification also on this. We all are compelled to vote unless we have an excuse to abstain from a vote. However, I was made aware that some people treat that perhaps differently. One of them would be to say that if you abstain in your vote, then it'll be taken as a no vote. And the other one is that it would be a yes vote by mentioning that you're abstaining. And if you're present, if you're you know, the role has been taken. And the example that I was able to cite over the internet suggests that it would be a yes vote. So I want to be sure.
To Robert's rules,
I believe it is.
if you abstain, you abstain. It's not a yes or a no vote. You just abstain.
It doesn't count. You're, you know, instead of 7 of us, there'd be 6 of us.
Well, yeah,
And we can't abstain anyway, can we? It's just we have to vote on every subject that's presented.
you're supposed to.
Yay or nay?
Unless it financially benefits you.
Sure.
Unless the motion in some way financially benefits you or your immediate family.
Is that rule usually for all meetings? I mean, I was at a board meeting, somebody said they didn't know enough about the subject. But that's not a good enough excuse, or?
Yeah.
And the chairman said, no, that's a no vote. I was at the meeting, so. They make up the rules as they go, is that it?
If they don't adopt, I can't talk to other groups,
Okay.
but in this, at number 7, you're adopting Robert's Rules of Order current edition
Oh,
as your parliamentarian rules,
okay.
and that's what they say.
I thought it had to be financial too, so. Maybe I'll check into it. Thanks.
The phrase absentee or abstaining votes, an oxymoron in being or refusal to vote. To abstain means to refrain from voting, and as a consequence, there can be no such thing as an abstention vote. In the usual situation where either a majority vote or a 2/3 vote is required, abstaining has absolutely no effect on the outcome of the vote, since what is required is either a majority or 2/3 of the votes cast. On the other hand, if the vote required is a majority or 2/3 of the members present, or a majority or 2/3 of the entire membership, and abstaining will have the same effect as a no vote. Even in such a case, however, abstaining is not a vote and is not counted as a vote.
It has to do with majorities. So,
I don't know if that helps.
yeah, normally, if there's 5 of us,
So if it's 2/3 vote and you abstain, it's nullified because you have to have a majority of 2/3. If it's a yes or no vote, you abstain, it's considered a no vote, according to the Robert's rules.
so it is in Robert's rules. Yeah.
Okay.
That's according to robertsrules.com, but we can get another source. It's not Wikipedia.
Right, and I appreciate that point. I guess, you know, the clarification is what I wanted to be sure of, in terms of, you know, how that would be interpreted. So you're saying that it would not have any difference?
That's according to the 11th edition.
Except if there's 5 people and one abstains and it's a 2-2 tie, the person abstaining would be considered a no vote, because it did not pass. Yeah, that's
Thank you.
Robert's rule.
Can you get all that? I'm reflecting the minutes.
Yeah.
It's a bit confusing. Could you repeat that, Chair Lori?
It's not in the form of a motion.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the rules for organization and procedures with the only change being 5 minutes to speak.
Can you get a comment in there about the consent agenda? Because
Yeah, that was the consent.
Again, Nick, we based that on Robert's rules.
no, I believe, I'm serious about this consent agenda thing. Most, many boards offer the opportunity for people to say, is there any problem, especially on their final day, with any item on that consent agenda, and then they'll handle that one separately.
Yeah, I've always thought that it needs to be done by motion. It's a secondary motion to your main motion.
I really don't think so. I mean, especially when you try to use common sense on this whole thing, and I'm not trying to suggest anything, but, when you try to use common sense, you've had the week to think about what you want to do. And then the final analysis, you're gonna make a decision on that final day, and, if you feel strongly, you just want to have it down separate. I can certainly see the common sense. And I believe, at least, I think there's precedence here. I can go back to it. But
Let me do some more research. I don't care.
yeah, and I appreciate that.
And, if we need to revisit it, we can at the next round of meetings. But I think you need a motion. It's a secondary motion, but we can look at it, and if we need to, because that's not specifically set out in your rules and procedures. That's just been based on Robert's rules.
When it comes to the, consent agenda, I mean, I think the unfortunate situation is that we, first of all, you have a problem with what has been put on the consent agenda. Then you end up, let's say, in committee of the whole, voting for it. And you voted against it yourself, but you lost that bet, because.
So, let me clarify. So the consent agenda allows members to vote on a group of items in block without discussion. This is a good way to dispose of business that is not controversial, approving the minutes, paying the bills, etc. The presentation of the consent agenda is established by a special rule of order and should be taken up before committee. But I think your question gets to this part, is to extract an item.
Yes.
A member need only rise and request that item 3 be removed from the consent agenda. This means that the member wants to discuss and vote on this issue
That's in
separately.
Robert's rules, so we can,
Right.
That's there.
What would be wrong with adding that item onto our policies and procedures? We don't need the whole wording, but at least have, the consent agenda go to such page in Robert rules.
Redundant.
Well, it is, but it would
Or we
satisfy
can
John.
Or I'll go to the bookstore and get everybody copies.
I put in the motion comment that we do have a consent agenda, and the Robert's Rules of Order govern consent agendas. Yeah, I put that in my motion.
Your answer to the question is yes, you can pull it out. So I mean, I don't
Yeah,
see
it's
why
Robert's
anything else
rules.
needs to be done with it. It can be done, and if
We
you
can
know
make,
that,
we can make a statement.
We don't have to make it a vote to.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in Robert's Rules of Order, and we'll follow that on the consent agenda.
Very good.
Yeah, I'll put that in my motion.
Any further
Write that
discussion?
motion out.
Yes.
Are you gonna write that motion out?
No! Leave it up to the clerk, Madam Clerk. Yeah.
Discussing further, Madam Clerk.
No, well,
Sorry, sir.
there's 2 other items. This is 13 and 14 in here, dealing with county commissioners' duties and such. Since we don't have one and haven't had one for the most part for the last 2 years, why is that still here?
That's a good question. 13 would be the county administrator,
How about if,
executive assistant, I guess. I mean, we can make it the Julie rule. If As for the second one, the 14 could be taken out. If you so inclined.
Or do you just want to put ifs, if we have a county administrator, if,
I'm good either way.
No, as you say, if we ever get to the point where we do actually hire somebody as a county administrator, we can put these precautionary things in here. But until then, I don't see that there's any sense in keeping it.
Well, I think 13 has to stay. If you want to change county administrator to administrative executive assistant or whatever you'd like.
the board, whoever the board designates.
Administrative assistant.
Yeah,
I
administrative
think you
assistant.
can do both, can't you? So this,
Yeah. Whatever would be the proper terminology is fine with my motion.
Administration assistant. And strike 14.
re-eliminating 13 and 14?
14.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to make sure.
Change
Thanks.
13 to the board executive assistant.
Yeah, that's fine with my motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? If nothing further, Madam Clerk.
No, it's a,
Okay.
no, you're in too big a rush.
I read it before.
Okay. And I have no problem with the modification of 13 and 14, since I made the motion. But there's another one in here, is where it's a little closer to home for me. Under number 3, dealing with standing committees, on the very bottom of the list there, in the apparent prolonged absence of a member of a standing committee, the chairperson of the board may appoint another member until the absent commissioner returns. And through anything in the rules and procedures here, nowhere does it say that the chair has the ability to remove anybody from any committee, which we all know has happened in the last year. So if you want to have that power, then that should be put in the policies and procedures. You know, because I know I'm going to be a pain in the neck this next year, and your way of dealing with it, I want it in black and white.
Okay, well, again, I refer you to the Robert's Rules of Order, as it is stated in there, which we are passing, so. As much as I'd love to, do you have anything other than number 3, again, that is in the Robert's Rules already? Anything further on these numbers? Or do we just all need to read up on this? Then if nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Rudd,
Yes.
Commissioner Bartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Horvath,
Yes?
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider,
No.
Commissioner Audi.
Yes. We'll move to entertain a motion to set the meeting schedule.
I'll make that motion and somebody make a second.
Do we want to change anything?
Yeah, that'll be discussion.
I'll second it then.
All right, discussion?
Yeah, in March, preference, because of Easter falling on the 25th of March, could we move our meeting back a week to the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th instead of the 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th? Normally, we don't have meetings in an election cycle. The primary is that week of 7, 8, 9, 10 on a Tuesday, which is the 8th. I've talked to Lori, and Lori would normally not be here anyway. But that would, for vacations and people coming for Easter breaks and everything, that would work out a lot better. Is anybody contrary to that? we move the meetings to 7, 8, 9, and 10 instead of 14, 15, 16, and 17.
No problem.
I put that in my motion. That would be the only deviation from the schedule as prepared by our assistant.
Anything further? Any other discussions or dates that seem fishy or don't work with your vacation schedule?
Maybe we can just take August off and then maybe go on vacation. Redo that another.
If nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Plowman?
Yes.
Commissioner Horvath?
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Elway?
Yes. We'll move to the appointment of committee members.
You want to leave them the same?
All right, starting with the committee of the whole, Chair Jeff Bartz, Vice Chair Gary Holzhausen. Economic and Physical Development, Chair John Horvath, Vice Chair Jeremy Roop, third John Plowman. Finance and Administration, Chair John Plowman, Vice Chair Gary Holzhausen, third John Horvath. Public Safety and Courts, Chair John Horvath, Vice Chair Gary Holzhausen, third Les Schneider. Health and Human Services, Chair Jeremy Roop, Vice Chair Jeff Bartz, third John Plowman. Subcommittees, Agricultural Preservation, Commissioner Roop. Airport Board, as we discussed, Mr. Musson until a successor is named. CACS, Gary Holzhausen. Central Dispatch, John Horvath. Community Corrections, John Horvath. GLS Region 6, Jeremy Roop, John Horvath. Mental Health Authority, Commissioners Horvath and Holzhausen. Midwest Trail Authority, Les Schneider, John Horvath. MTA, Commissioner Plowman. Parks and Recreation, Commissioner Bartz. Public Health, Les Schneider. Solid Waste Management, Commissioner Plowman.
Public Health?
Yeah, for the second, you'll be the second.
Oh,
Holzhausen, sorry.
so which one now?
Your Public Health on the second. With Les.
Oh,
Solid Waste with Plowman. VAAA, Gary.
thank you.
You're welcome. And SCOLA, we'll go with Holzhausen and Horvath. time we'll move.
You got
Couple more.
I-69 and GST.
Those are appointments that I think come throughout the year though, correct? With the board meetings, not just the chairman.
Could be. Yeah, okay. But anyway, you might point out that, yeah, John and I are serving as chair. Okay.
So it's gonna stay the same as what it was right now? It is right now?
I just want, again, some clarification, maybe I misheard. GLS Region 5, I think there was, I think there was just one person that's assigned to that. By appointment, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure.
I will gladly step up.
If that's the case, I have one, and took care of it, didn't we? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. Moot point.
Didn't we discuss that last year, because when you and Gary was on it, and one was going to be on it, the other was sort of the backup?
That was the,
Is that a different meeting?
that had to deal with the seniors, the
VAA?
back to school on the VAA, yeah. And they didn't want 2 people anymore. So,
You eat too many cookies.
yeah, so, and in fact, just to make
We
sure.
cut the whole board down,
Yeah.
Lapeer County and Genesee County and
Right.
the city of Flint, they cut the whole board down instead of having so many
Right.
chiefs. We need more Indians, so.
So, yeah. So looking at the Council on Aging, it is both Horvath and Holzhausen still? Okay.
We'll get a nice printout on that.
Who's on the GST, Michigan Works Governing Board at this time?
That's Horvath and I.
And you're on the I-69 Developmental Corporation too?
I think that's
The next Michigan Developmental Corporation?
Horvath, I believe.
Okay, that's just for that. And what about the other appointments? Mr. Chairman, the Administrator, Technology, Buildings, Grounds, Emergency Management, Corporation.
We can do it without the budget. Essentially, we'll be divvying that up tomorrow. But I'd like to give you the contact person for buildings and grounds and emergency management.
I'll remain as for zoning and planning and so on and so forth.
I'll take administrative and technology. And then they'll be email them all. Basically, if you're chair of the committee, and people have questions, I'm going to want you to reach out to the chairman first.
I will, for the allocation board, I will, after the meeting, we can discuss a time frame. But what I want to do is have our administrative assistant poll the people that are involved and see when we can meet as quickly as possible. I'm trying not to bid, maybe they got a meeting at noon, maybe we can find an evening or whatever to meet. Quite a varied group, so we'll have to work hard to try to find a suitable, so what I'll try to do is have 3 or 4 open days and who can make those. And then we'll make sure that everybody is notified, the Board of Commissioners, everybody in the press, it's an open meeting. And also I'd like to thank Mike here, Herndon, for studying the law very intently, reading right out of the manual. So it'll be an interesting meeting when we're able to form it and get started.
When do we think this is going to be?
I'm going to try to do it, if not this week, the first of next week. And I'll discuss with Julie afterwards the days are both open and who the people are again. And we'll make phone calls and try to schedule that as quickly as possible within notification procedures.
Can we briefly, I'd like to write that down too, can we briefly name people that are on this committee now?
Yeah. John Plowman,
So we got John Plowman,
Tom Boyer, Bruce Cook, Dave Schulte, Burton Fox, and Paul Matthews?
Phil.
Phil Matthews.
Yeah,
I
so
apologize.
there's a whole bunch of them.
You Scioto Township. Bert Fox, the city of Owasso.
I'd just like to point out that everybody's welcome to come, and we'll have comment times and discussion, but everybody's welcome to put their 2 cents in word, so.
You're going to email us, is that it?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'll have Julie make sure everybody's contacting the board, and press will know and everything, so it's quite interesting. I mean, I've been looking at it, but it's quite involved. It can be, or it can't be, but I think there's some chance for some good conversation as to our needs of the county for the next, what period of time, 2, 4, 6, 8 years, while we ever want to set this election.
What was Mr. Schofi's name?
Dave.
Getting going back to this, I just want to double check, make sure I heard things right. Mental Health Authority Board is Horvath and Holzhausen?
Mental Health Authority is
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. And then Public Health is Horvath and Holzhausen?
We're back from Schneider.
And Snyder. Thank you.
Public health is what now?
Schneider.
You and I don't.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry, it's Holzhausen
Holzhausen and Schneider.
and Snyder, so I'm not on Public Health.
I know the other 20, you know, won't take a long time.
Got a question.
Yes, sir.
Who left the back door open? We got riffraff coming in.
Geez, you forgot to shave too. If nothing further, we'll move to call to the public. Please pass in name, address, phone number, email address, I know the license plate number.
Shoe size.
I'll get this filled out. First, I'd like to congratulate you and Mr. Marks on being assigned to these positions. My question is, I know there are like 19 committees, standing committees, and I see that the people of District 5 are not being given someone to represent them in 2 committees, one which met when I last had full head of hair, and the other one, why are the citizens of District 5 not being allowed their representation to represent them in more committees? And that's the only thing I've got.
Thank you. If nothing further, please consider this adjourned.